Hey guys, what's going on? It is Corbin Stuckey at Pixel Talk here. I just got back from a little concert with my friend Dylan. I helped him on his channel Alternative Indian. He does a lot of interviews with a lot of artists who are in the music industry, so I basically was a cam op for him. And while I was there at that concert, I was on Twitter and I found out some major news regarding the Star Wars franchise. So apparently, and this is actually the article that I'm reading on the StarWars.com website. There's been a lot of speculations as to what exactly is going on. People are saying certain things on Twitter, but I'm going about this just by reading the said article on StarWars.com. Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, has been confirmed that he is going to be directing an entirely new trilogy in the Star Wars franchise, meaning there is not going to be any focus on the Skywalker storyline. It's going to be totally different. It's going to be based on new characters, and Twitter has just been blowing up tonight. It has been really crazy. We're going to be talking about how exactly this is going to be affecting the Star Wars franchise and kind of what to expect from The Last Jedi as well. Let's talk about that first. So basically, Disney went ahead and hired Rian Johnson for this new trilogy because they were very satisfied with his work in The Last Jedi. They must have really liked it. As you guys probably already know, Disney is really not good at keeping directors in terms of Star Wars films. As you guys may have heard this year, Phil Lord and Chris Miller were supposed to direct the Han Solo movie, but they actually got into a disagreement with Disney about creativity. They were going into a totally different direction with Han Solo, and Disney wanted them to go what Disney wanted them to go into. So they just had like a bunch of creative differences, so they left the project, and now Ron Howard is directing the new Han Solo movie. Same thing happened with Josh Trank. He did a really bad job with Fantastic Four. I guess Disney didn't really want to work with him anymore, so he just completely left a Star Wars project. We don't really know what that project was supposed to be. So when it comes to directors, Disney is really iffy because they have a vision of their own of where they want Star Wars to go, and they're just really picky on directors. But it seems that Rian Johnson did pretty much an amazing job on The Last Jedi, and Disney wants him to come back for a new entire trilogy for Star Wars. So this indicates that, in Disney's opinion, The Last Jedi is going to be really good. I'm very excited for it. I really liked The Force Awakens. A lot of people had different opinions about The Force Awakens, but I thought it was a really good film. It introduced new characters into the Star Wars franchise. Even though it had a lot of callbacks to the original trilogy, I admired the shit out of it. I love The Force Awakens. So we're going to be talking about the positives and the negatives of this new trilogy. Let's get into that. Positives. I like how they are going into a totally different direction. I think it's really cool how we're going to be exploring more corners of the Star Wars universe or galaxy. I am very excited about that, and it's not going to be just focused on the Luke Skywalker storyline, because obviously, you know, with Carrie Fisher passing away in December, these actors are not going to be around much longer. We're going to have new characters fill in those gaps, and, you know, it just makes sense that they would focus on new characters and not focus on the same storyline that we've been focusing on for the past 40 years. So it totally makes sense as to why they're doing this, and it also gives them a clean palette to kind of just do new ideas on. I think that's just really cool that they can just kind of start from scratch, but they have this universe to go on and all these different factors like the Force and lightsabers, and, you know, it's not just about the characters. I mean, the characters are the most beloved part of Star Wars, but what really also makes Star Wars is this universe and the idea of the Force and everything around it. Rogue One is a good, I know I gave Rogue One a really good review, my initial thoughts when I saw it, but looking back at that film, I think it could have been better, but I really admired Rogue One because it didn't really focus on the Skywalker storyline. It did something completely different, but what I really loved about it was that it took place in the Star Wars universe, and it was doing something different. And I think that's what they're initially going for, is they're going to make more Rogue One films where it's in the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't have anything to do with the Skywalker storyline. In fact, it actually says in the article that they're going to be exploring different corners of this galaxy and places that we haven't experienced before. So maybe new aliens, new animals. So I am very excited to see something that we haven't seen before in the Star Wars universe. In terms of negatives, obviously, we are not going to be focusing on Luke Skywalker anymore, which is really sad because a lot of people love the Skywalker storyline, but all things have to come to an end. But that doesn't mean we have to really not focus on Star Wars, which also kind of really gets into another negative of mine. Is this basically means that Star Wars is not going to end anytime soon, we're going to get a Star Wars film probably most likely every year now. And because of this, Star Wars is probably going to get old like Marvel. Even though Marvel movies are really good, we get Marvel movies like every year now. We got 3 this year. And they've turned out really well. But there's also that kind of mixed side of Marvel movies where I just feel like, okay, it feels like they're very easily manufactured and not a whole lot of work is put into them. Whereas with Star Wars, I see all the practicality and all the special effects that goes into a Star Wars film. It's very admirable, and I really love the Star Wars films because of that. With Marvel, I really like Marvel, but Marvel feels like it's very easily produced. They're able to make a movie like every year now, and it just feels like they're trying to meet a quota. It's almost like they're trying to make just a product and not an actual film sometimes. Like with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Those were films. With Spider-Man Homecoming, that felt like they were just trying to meet a quota and actually cater to an audience. And that's what I'm scared is happening with Star Wars now, is we're going to get a Star Wars film every year now, and it's maybe going to get old. I really like this new trilogy that they're doing now, and they are actually trying, but I feel as though one of the most negative things about Rogue One was there just really wasn't anything special about it. It was just a Star Wars film and not a whole lot of special characters, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of is we're going to get a new trilogy with characters that we don't necessarily care about. They're going to have to try really hard for us to feel for these characters and for us to connect with them. Another negative that I really want to talk about is they are probably going to not focus on Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron anymore because they're somewhat attached to the Skywalker storyline. Maybe not blood related, we don't know yet, but they're in that storyline, so we're probably not going to be seeing them again, which these are characters that we have been already introduced to and we love, and now that we've just met them, we're not going to be really seeing them anymore after The Last Jedi and Episode 9, which kind of sucks. I wanted to see maybe another sequel of Star Wars films where Daisy Ridley maybe becomes a mentor to other Jedi Knights. I thought that would have been cool, but you know, it's kind of doing ring theory again, kind of rehashing the same idea where the Padawan becomes the Jedi Master. So if they want to put an end to that, I totally understand, but I really love Rey. So they're probably most likely going to be focusing on new characters. That is what this article says. I don't want to speculate any further, but there are a lot of tweets where a lot of people are saying that this is going to take place in a totally new, different galaxy. That is not what this article is saying. This article is saying that this new trilogy is going to be reaching points of the galaxy that we have not yet seen before. So it's the same initial Star Wars galaxy, it's just parts of it that we just haven't seen before. So a lot of people are speculating a lot. I just wanted to mention that this is what it says in this article. So if you guys want the truth, you should just visit this article. I'm going to put it in the link down below. And that's pretty much like, you know, the facts, basically. The facts are that Rian Johnson is hired to write and direct a new Star Wars trilogy that has nothing to do with the Skywalker storyline whatsoever, and most likely the new characters in the new trilogy. And this storyline is going to take place in the same galaxy, but in different corners of it, with new characters. That's pretty much it. And most likely, Star Wars is maybe going to get old. I don't know. I really hope it doesn't. I hope they make characters like they did in the new trilogy where we automatically like them and we can relate to them. But, you know, things can get old sometimes. Even though I love Marvel, I'm not scared to admit that, you know, Marvel sometimes gets old. If you saw my review to Thor Ragnarok, I had a lot of thoughts about that movie. It was entertaining, but, you know, it's the same stuff that Marvel does. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the new Star Wars trilogy directed by Rian Johnson. But this makes me really excited about The Last Jedi because this obviously shows that Disney really liked this movie and they have a lot of faith in this guy. So this could potentially be better than The Force Awakens, and I'm very excited about that. So yeah, that's my update on this new Star Wars trilogy. Comment down below what you think of this, like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, movie news, gaming content, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.